Siapa?
Anak gue.
Akan kemungkinan terjadinya kembali kerusuhan besar antar kelompok masyarakat di
Aku sudah cari anak kakakku di banyak sekolah di Jakarta Timur dan ini sekolah terakhir.
Duri yang tempat anak-anak buangan itu nggak bahaya gitu ngajar di sana?
Tidak tahu kalau bapak ini
Cina. Hari ini aku ajak Rizko ke sini buat nyari tahu.
Soal?
Dia anak kakakku. Rumah di mana? Sudah terkelap.
tak usah, makasih. Mati.
Ngapain orang yang lain? Takut sama murid sini. Mereka nggak akan bunuh saya.
Mereka akan bunuh bapak.
Enggak, kamu biarin kita hidup karena kita bakal jadi saksi.
My God, that was intense.
Very.
It was actually the trailer of Pengepungan di Bukit Duri or The Siege at Thorn High. I'm not sure if you could translate that because that's actually the region in Jakarta, in East Jakarta, in which I was raised. Around. Now to know more about the movie that will be released on April the 17th, we're joined by the cast of the movie. I'm sorry if I'm starstruck. Because I've been watching their respective movies.
Same here.
Morgan Oey, Hana Malasan, and Omara Esteghlal.
Welcome.
How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
Is there any bruises? Bruises?
No.
It's healed.
Healed
already. Yeah.
Also the open wounds.
Yeah. No, we're good with that.
A year ago.
So, the trailer, we did see it, and the trailer shows high production quality. Finally, we can see some Indonesian actors being featured after that lion rose.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, the movie is collaboration with Amazon MGM Studios, which is also the first time working with a Southeast Asian production house. And the movie is directed by 2020 Piala Citra Best Director winner Joko Anwar. How does it feel to be part of this project?
Ooh.
It was a dream came true.
Yeah,
How long have you been waiting for this?
I don't know. We've been waiting long enough to, to have a movie directed by him. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's such an honor
Yeah, it's
for
such
me
an
to
honor.
be, in this amazing production and also working with these amazing actors and also working with Joko Anwar was a dream,
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is a reason why people call him a genius because when we first encountered the script, I think this was once-in-a-lifetime experience where we could see such a magnificent script where it talks about, the society in a way that is quite entertaining. So, yeah, I mean, it was
Yes,
lovely.
it becomes
Yeah.
more, valuable for us.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And,
First directed by him, and then the second, the storyline was.
Yep.
and
I don't
to know that we this production collaborating with MGM
Yeah.
Studios. That's like a huge step, not only for this movie, right?
Yeah.
But also for the industry itself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So now you mentioned about the storyline. If we're looking at the trailer alone, I think we kind of know what it's about, but can you tell us a little bit more? What is it about and what distinguishes this, other than any other thriller movie? What makes it different?
I mean, judging from the genre of the movie and how you actually describe Bukit Duri,
Yeah.
that's very Bukit Duri. Yeah. I'm telling
Right.
you, even since the 70s, the 80s, Bukit Duri has been so dodgy.
Right.
But the Bukit Duri in this movie is kind of like a fictional
It is.
area
Yeah.
of
Okay.
Joko Anwar's universe.
I see.
And the issue that we handle here is about education, it's about
Racial,
racial conflicts.
and also how teachers and not
Underappreciated.
underappreciated.
I suppose this is quite a representation of what has happened in our country,
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but this is sort of a fictional representation of what might happen again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it has happened before. But we're not saying that this is a documentary, of what happened, but this was inspired by something that happened that people don't want to talk about. So, yeah.
So what is your character in this movie?
I'm a student. I'm a troubled student in in a high school that no one wants to go to. This is the sort of last resort for people who are abandoned and was ruined by society. And I think I personify the things that went wrong in society.
The cast out school.
Yeah, I suppose
Yeah.
you could say that. But the character I'm playing, his name is Jeffrey. He is born into a very, very bad family and a society that is just beyond repair. And that's what we're portraying here. That's who I am.
What's yours, Hana?
So it's Diana. Diana is a teacher, a student counselor. Well, actually, she taken psychology degree, but instead of choosing like a normal path,
Like
she
being a shrink or what?
Yeah, but she decided to serve in this school, because for her, it's it's a challenge, and also she found like a purpose in this school.
And how about you, Morgan?
Yeah, I'm playing Edwin. Edwin is a substitute teacher who wanted to search for his nephew. And then he also not only have to teach the student in this troubled school, but he also has to, to kind of survive.
The situation.
Yeah, the situation.
With the situation of the attack of the troubled students.
And pardon me for that, but I want to know more about this because this movie is situated in the year 2030.
2027.
27.
2027.
Yes.
So not far from our present
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
And how are you guys able to embody what the situation would be like in the next 2 years? Because even now we are in a very big limbo situation.
That's why the movie was made, Gan.
Yeah, I suppose. Look, you talked about a limbo situation, that this so-called not so distant future dystopia whatsoever. The whole point is that it's happening right now. It's been happening for 20 years, for decades actually, since the independence. We see this going on. So to create this sort of situation where society is ruined, it's not so hard because you just look around and it is what's going on. You see the political climate around our country right now and in the world actually is not ideal. It's not utopia.
Sure.
It's far from it actually. But what we have right now is us just sort of nodding around and just continuing our lives as people, where we see around, it's not what we want from society. It's not what we want from the world, and yet we have to live it. So, for us to portray the sort of 2027, it's not happened yet. It's not that difficult because we just have to open our eyes and look around and see that the spirit of what's going on in the movie is what's going on around now. Anyway.
Yeah. So it's very relevant, right? Okay. Again, I'm watching the trailer, right? Then I read that somewhere it says, no one is a bad guy in this movie. Even your character in this movie, Omara, it says that you're just some guy with a misfortune situation.
Right.
But do you agree with that? I mean, we know you're the good guy and everything. I'm afraid. I am afraid of your character when I saw the trailer. And I'm afraid for you. Are you going to survive or not?
A good guy with bad decisions.
Yeah.
I would say that.
That idea of the nature versus nurture debate is actually still ongoing and stuff. But let's say I'm not a bad guy. Let's say let's go with that premise, with that notion, right? Then we are critiquing society in the sense that we raise children in a world where it's not, it's quite inhabitable for everyone right now. Because you see violence going around and it's a solution for life. It's quite a shortcut for people. And it's okay to teach, boys that say, oh, they're into a fight, oh, whatever, they're boys.
Yeah.
These sort of habits, these sort of like things that we unconsciously subscribe to, it's dangerous because let's say I'm not so much of a bad guy, I'm just raised, in a sort of unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, everyone's responsible for the society they live in. So am I, but I'm the sort of person who was already ruined, he was already destroyed by such a society that he can't do anything else but to follow that. And he wants to be somebody. He wants that sort of identity. He has that sort of crisis.
Yeah.
So he chases it. And instead of being someone that could serve well for society, he becomes the monster of society.
Yeah.
In a society full of monsters anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well.
Yeah.
To dive into a particular character is one thing, but also we knew that Morgan acts along with Hana as, in terms of romantic stuff and stuff like that. But for some of our viewers who might not be familiar with actors acting and stuff, they might want to know, how is the chemistry being built?
So
Actually, this is our first time.
first time,
Yeah,
Do you
this is our
hang
first
out
time.
every day?
Well,
Yeah.
on screen, of course, we make like a comfortable friendship.
Yeah.
So when we acted, it felt natural
Comfortable,
and sincere. And but also, I think Abang Joko helped a lot to build the character's depth. So he gave us backstory.
Each one of the characters, character sheet and background.
Even our birthdays, and then also like what else?
From we were born until the time of the film.
Yeah. So when we acted, when we getting into the role, we're not just acting. We carries all the memories and also emotional history in it. So it felt it feels so
organic.
grounded.
It felt organic.
So you strip your own selves to be in the character.
Yes.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah, we can't wait to watch it. But can we talk about the fighting scenes? Because this fighting scenes, it says that. The fighting scenes in this movie, it's about you do anything to survive. You're not showing your best moves or anything, but it's about surviving.
Yes,
so
it's about surviving.
how was the whole preparation
training.
for this?
Trainings, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, this is my first movie that has a lot of action sequences. I don't know about Omara, but I'm so proud to have a screen partner that, such as Omara and Hana that can, we can, encounter or we can give each other really good energy, and then especially the fighting sequence. It's like dancing, right? It's like dancing is choreographed.
Yeah.
So, it's about trust.
Yeah.
Lots of training. But
I suppose the one thing we want to steer away from is the glorification of violence that we often see in movies and stuff, right? So what we do to do that, the emphasis we put is for the choreography to be real life, because lifelike. Because what we do, you see, it's funny, because when we watch movies, action movies, all the blood and all the gore, we watch them and we're like, wow. But when we see the news, right, we see the news and things are viral, in social media, we often look away because we can't. It's irky. We can't. So that's what we're trying to do. We want to portray that violence isn't beautiful, isn't cool. Violence is disgusting. It's uncomfortable. So a lot of the movements are actually lifelike and very realistic to a point that it's not fun to watch. You get uncomfortable doing that, but that's the point. So, but I think that's the challenging part for the fighting choreo, because we have to think about movements that are lifelike. It cannot be stylistic.
And Abang, the director, wanted to, precisely street fight.
So he also choreographed the fighting scene.
Oh, he supervised.
He supervised, but he didn't want to be too stylish.
So is it your first fighting
Yeah, this
scene?
is your first fight.
It's not my first fighting scene, no,
It's not
but,
yours.
but one that is very like
Gory.
Gory.
Yeah,
We know Hana was drenched in blood before. She was.
No action scene for me in this movie. So yeah.
Why? Oh, probably.
yeah.
Quite. Isn't good enough with it. So the movie, as you were telling us, the movie raises many social issues, education, racial stuff. Was there any personal experience with some issues that you relate to, which could be made or which made you want to take part in this movie?
Yes. So luckily, I came from a academic family. So my dad, my brother, and also my grandfather, they are all lecturers. So I know already how the dynamic. I
Of
know
the education world.
Yes, and
System.
I've seen how hard it is to be in education world, and I'm glad that this movie brings that issues. So when I got the offer, I was so happy, so glad to get the offer.
And what about you guys?
Maybe one thing that I can relate with the character Edwin that I was playing is we have this generational trauma. You know, the minority
Agree.
group, we have generational trauma, and the fear it spreads nationwide. So that thing maybe I can say that I can relate with my character Edwin, generational trauma.
Is there any for you, Omara?
Yeah, I think three things I would like to underline. And the first one is we criticize feudalism here, and which is a big issue right now in Indonesia, feudalism. And second, irrational hatred, which we see a lot. I mean, we hate people for no apparent reason whatsoever, but that the culture allows us to hate that certain group of people. The third one, I suppose, is sort of what I would call, goes under the umbrella term of ignorance. I mean, we often just, if we don't know anything, it's fine that we don't know anything, but I don't think that's a healthy culture, It's not a healthy habit, If we don't know anything, find out about that thing, the history of it, what's going on. We can't just nod off and just went on with our lives, So I suppose these three things are being criticized in the script, and that's, that was an instant yes for me, It was...
Yeah.
And too bad it's already systemic in our country
Yep.
in some sort of way. This movie should be even get longer screen though.
Yeah.
People
I
should
meant to-
see this. People should see how the reality being pictured with all the storylines and stuff.
I think people will be triggered. I mean, especially, can we touch on bullying in school as well? I think people will still want to watch it, even though they're triggered. I think it's going to be, I'm not saying educational, but again, relatable to the situation in Indonesia. But you guys last night had the gala premiere.
Yep.
Yes.
Can you please tell us how was it and how did the response from the viewers?
The standing ovation was.
Yeah,
It's overwhelmed, but we're happy.
Yeah, I think the question now is that are we ready to have ourselves awakened to the reality that it is in this country, and it's not always good, and it's not always good. It's not always cozy. It's not always nice and warm and all that stuff. But there are things. People are suffering. People are often more unfortunate than us, and we have to open our eyes to it. And I think this is just a mere reflection of what's going on. So now the question is, are we ready for it? And I think we are. We should. We're a smart generation. We're a smart country.
Okay, one thing before we let you go. Do you think this movie and the meaning of this movie, or everything that you want to convey to your audience, will actually reach to even the grassroots level? I mean, this has to go all levels in Indonesia because this is what we don't want to see happening in Indonesia, although probably again.
Yeah.
That's all we hope.
Yeah, well,
hopefully.
I believe that Indonesians are all clever and smart, and I think that in the worst case, this is an entertaining 2 hours of your life. So if you get entertained by this 2 hour, hopefully you go home and think, oh, wait a minute, I got entertained by a movie that raises up very sensitive topics. You know what? Sensitivity doesn't have to be, abandoned. You know, you could talk about it. So that is the hope. Yeah. If you talk about grassroots, yeah, I suppose we could. You know, just
Hopefully.
pour it down.
Hopefully.
Okay. Fingers crossed till it hurts. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a very interesting interview about the movie as well.
Yeah.
Also, all the themes.
Watch it with me, okay?
Please.
Deal.
All right. Also, it's been very interesting month for us movie buffs because a lot of movies are actually coming out in the month of April, and the one coming up is Pengepungan di Bukit Duri. What date?
17th of April.
17th of April. 17th of April. So that would be more than a week from now.
Yes.
Oh, that's done actually.
Okay.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much, guys, for being
Thank you.
here. And viewers, we're going for another break, so keep it right here on the 2-Hour News Show on See Today.